Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I want to go over actually the snap count percentage from the Philadelphia Eagles of what happened during the Patriots game. Some, obviously we know who didn't play much, who didn't get many targets, and I kind of want to go through this list a little bit because they put out all the percentages out the other day, and I kind of want to go over it. I want to go over obviously Thursday night as well. And going into Thursday night, the Eagles will have an advantage over the Minnesota Vikings as they come into the link for the home opener. And why? We're going to talk about it.
We better turn. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
I want to give everybody a point of view on the Eagles snap percentages going into that Patriots game, what happened throughout that game, and just what did the Eagles do when they were subbing out, when they were letting guys play? How many opportunities did these guys get? The obvious ones we know, okay? Especially when there's guys either didn't play enough or guys that played enough but didn't really have any production at all or didn't really give them a shot during the game. So really going down the list, the offensive line with Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, with one target, okay, 61 snaps, 92% of the game, 60 snaps for A.J. Brown, 52 for Quez Watkins, but with like 3 catches. Gainwell had, 14 carries in the game, was in there for 41 snaps, 62% of the time. DeAndre Swift was in the game 19 snaps for DeAndre Swift. 19 snaps, was only in 29% of the time. That's one rushing attempt, and I think one target in the passing game, which he dropped, which he was really trying to get the ball and run up field really quick, but, he wanted to get up there quick and just drop the ball instantly. This is highway robbery when it comes to DeAndre Swift. Got to fix that this week. Really going down under, obviously the other tight ends doesn't really matter. Boston Scott, 8 snaps for the Eagles, was in 12% of the time. And I think Boston Scott only ran the ball maybe twice, I could probably guess, if I could even remember. Fletcher Cox is an interesting one at defensive tackle, 50 snaps, 62% of the time. So interesting enough, that's a big percentage for Fletcher Cox, because even for the snaps, that's a lot. Even last year when he had when he was playing over 40%, and we had a lot less defensive tackles last year. I think we only held 5 defensive tackles last year before we got Linval Joseph and before we got Adama Sue. It definitely affected Fletcher, to get more snaps last year. I don't know. It seems like maybe he's in better shape this year because he actually played a pretty damn good game. We almost got like the old Fletcher Cox back. He was very disruptive, especially against the run in the backfield, and doing a really good job. So this number, I'm actually pretty I'm actually kind of surprised over it. Been playing pretty good. Yeah, Nakobe Dean with 49 snaps, 61% of the time. Keep going down. Nothing that's crazy right now. Nothing that's crazy. But I think hitting the one that's really important here is Nolan Smith, listed as a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. He only had 7 snaps in this game. Nolan Smith had 7 snaps. This is what I don't get. Nolan Smith had 7 snaps. Kadavius Street only had 6. Tupelutu only had 6. I mean, these guys were active. Street was active, wasn't he? Tupelutu was active. They activated these guys. They weren't really in the rotation. I'm not making a big deal about it, but it's kind of, maybe they just want to keep a certain rotation going. But Nolan Smith, that's ridiculous. I mean, if they had him listed as a linebacker, did he even go in as a defensive end? I mean, I barely remember Nolan Smith in that game. Like, obviously I'm streaming, I'm looking at the chat, I'm trying to pay attention to everything, but I really don't remember Nolan Smith being in that game at all, which is bunch of bullshit, and that has to be changed. Like, seriously, Nolan Smith, do not give him a you draft him in the first round. This is how you're treating him. No, this is, and trust me, like I said, there's a lot of issues with why players are getting a lot of reps, but not getting production, not getting enough snaps, not even one rushing attempt or one target or only one target. It's an absolute disastrous mess with how they treated this roster on Sunday. Okay, so I kind of want to go into, they treated that Patriots game like it was a preseason game. Really think about it, okay? They ran the most generic shit plays I have ever seen in my life. It was generic. I honestly thought that they thought they were playing a preseason game, that they forgot that this was a regular season game, okay? Just think about it. It's like you're throwing 3 yards to wide receivers. You're running up the middle with Gainwell, and you're running with Jalen Hurts. And the most generic, vanilla, non-creative, like there's just something wrong with this to the point where I know Brian Johnson's not stupid. I know Nick Sirianni's not stupid. And Nick is sitting there for 4 quarters, letting this whole thing pass by, goes into a press conference after we win this game and says, oh, there's undeniably, we can't go a game without getting the ball to DeAndre Swift and Dallas Goedert. After the fact, you say all this, but is Nick talking to these guys? I mean, Jeffrey Lurie looked so disgusted in the press box. It looked like it looks like they were hiding plays, like they didn't want to expand the playbook. And that's why going into Thursday night, I feel like, and this is all fixable. Okay, this is all fixable. This isn't panic mode. If the Eagles are playing like they played against the Patriots, okay, for the next 3 to 4 weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks from now, if they're still playing like this, oh yeah, it's time to panic. It's time to flip out every video, and I don't want to have one of those years, okay? But when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, they lost against Tampa Bay Bucks, okay? They lost, and they are going to be pissed off coming in at the link. They're coming in with a chip on their shoulder, okay? The Vikings have a nice trio between Justin Jefferson that had 135 yards alone in the first half of that Tampa game, and they still lost. Jordan Addison has become a monster number 2. They just signed TJ Hawkinson to a big contract, okay, which makes him, the 3rd or 4th highest? I forgot where he is on the list. I know Dallas Goedert's behind on that. But they have a nice trio of guys. The weakness to this Vikings game, okay, for them going into it, Kirk Cousins had a fumble. Kirk Cousins had a last-minute interception, a panic throw, which he does that a lot when there's pressure in his face. Looks like the guards, some guards on the left or the right side, a couple guys have not been playing, have not been panning out. The offensive line for the Vikings has not been playing good. It looks very bad, okay, and Kirk Cousins is obviously the weakest link to that team. I think what really stops the Vikings from ever winning a championship ever is that quarterback that's in Minnesota right now, and it's Kirk Cousins. And yes, he hasn't won a primetime game in a long time. I don't think he ever has. Hence why we always make the joke on, primetime Cousins, because he does nothing when the spotlight is on him. Going into this game, what tape do the Vikings have on the Philadelphia Eagles right now? Okay, they really don't have much, to be honest, because if we were so generic and we were so vanilla and we treated that Patriots game like it was a preseason game with really the most generic looking peewee football plays that we ran when I was 10 years old, okay, that's the advantage the Eagles have, because if they can look even 50 times better than what they looked Sunday, they're going to look like a brand new team. If they put on a show like they did Sunday at the link in front of the Eagles fans, it's going to get ugly very, very quick. This is fixable. This is not the Philadelphia Eagles. This is not. I have a lot of faith that they're going to get this done and they're going to change things. Whether it takes a couple weeks, whether it takes a few weeks, changes are going to be made, because to be honest with you, you have to change things up, especially not even just, it's everything. It's the creative plays. It's everything's just generic. Really, like, I figured, okay, they were playing it safe in the rain, and then when the rain kind of switched off and the weather got more clear, the Patriots got more explosive. They passed a lot more. They threw deep a lot more, and they challenged the Eagles. And the Eagles did not switch to. They maintained that same offense like they were playing in a rainy game still, which I still don't get. That's why something is really fishy about this Patriots game. Brian Johnson was around Shane Steichen the whole entire year, and during the game, like does Shane Steichen knows how to, how does he not know how to use Hurts? Has he not how to get, distribute the ball well between your running backs? And why was Rashad Penny a healthy scratch? There was just so many, like, what? Like, I didn't even see Nick Sirianni go up to one of these coordinators the whole game. I saw him go up to nobody. I didn't see him go up to nobody on field. They're both on field. Nobody's in the press box or nothing. Both of those coordinators are down on the field, and I saw nobody. I didn't see him reprimand anybody or go up to someone and say, hey, what's going on? Nothing. I mean, I didn't see one shot. Trust me, if we saw a shot of that, somebody would have recorded it. We would have seen something. But I saw Nick not take any action during the game. And then after the fact, we win the game, and it was an ugly win at the end of the night. And he says, there's no excuse. We got to get the ball to Goddard. We got to get the ball to DeAndre Swift. They made it so obvious, like how, of course, that defensive line for the Patriots got after us because we made it obvious. I mean, when Gainwell is lined up behind Jalen Hurts or on his left, they're running the ball. If DeAndre Swift is in the game, we're passing the ball. They cannot do that. Swift has got to be the focal point. Even when they got the jump on us, that's just what happened, okay? I didn't think our punting was bad. I didn't think, our defense obviously is a whole nother story right now with the injuries at linebacker and stuff like that because, you have to deal with Hawkinson, going up the middle now. Are these linebackers going to be able to do it without Nakobe Dean? Because I don't think Nakobe Dean even played well in coverage, but I thought as a downhill linebacker, he played pretty good. Okay, the Vikings are coming into the link really pissed off with a chip on their shoulder, losing that first game, and Justin Jefferson is a damn beast. The number two thing the Eagles have to do, okay? Not only, I think we have an advantage in this game because really, what tape do the Vikings have? What tape are they taking from that first game? What play it really shined out from that game that's going to tell them, oh, yeah, we're going to see if this play is coming. We didn't show anything because that's how bad we played. That's how generic we played. There was no creativity in that offense, okay? That's number one. Number two, you cannot play off the ball with these cornerbacks. You can't. You literally can't. You do that, you're losing. There's no doubt. I don't care how bad Kirk Cousins is. If Mac Jones could do it, Kirk Cousins can do it. Kirk Cousins will check the ball down. He will throw in 0.2 seconds where our pass rush will get there. Guys, I have no issue with the pass rush. The pass rush was there, but you cannot generate a pass rush with your corners being off the ball that much, that far away. Slay is not a zone cornerback. Bradbury's not going to be playing in this game, so it's either going to be Josh Jobe or Eli Ricks. Most likely it's going to be Josh Jobe on Jordan Addison. You have got to shadow Slay on Justin Jefferson like you did last year because you only held him to how many yards? 40-something yards. Now you got to deal with a number two receiver that's very good, very fluid, very fast, great route running, great contested catching for Jordan Addison. He's fantastic. I praise a lot in that team with those receivers, but that weakness is that damn quarterback. The weakness is that damn offensive line. If you could just press these guys for a couple seconds, because Kirk doesn't have, I think, Mac Jones, at least with Mac Jones, he's got more mobility. I feel like he moves a little bit better, and that's not saying much. Kirk Cousins is not the most athletic quarterback that we've ever seen before, okay? We put him in a box, move him up in the pocket. I think we're going to get some numbers up with the sack number right now. 2 sacks or less in this game. If we get another 2 sacks in this game, that means the cornerbacks were not doing their job. And Sean Desai was not using them the right way. I swear to God, dude, you cannot give these wide receivers and tight ends 5 to 7 yards of free release wide open because there's no room. It's a waste of every rep for these defensive tackles, for these defensive ends. Okay? I don't know why I said defensive so weirdly, but I'm sorry. That's all I got to say, man. Now, Daniil Hunter on the defensive line, their defense took, they didn't really upgrade too much on their defense like crazy. Definitely took a hit at linebacker. So I feel like there could be some mismatches there, middle of the field going forward, even at cornerback as well. I feel like the Eagles could score points on this team. I have no issue with it because the tape that the Vikings are going to study is that generic piece of garbage game we just played that really didn't show our high potential, but we actually are. Going forward, it's a joke. That's the big advantage we have right now. And I'm telling you, if you're going in there without Bradbury. And I feel good, like Josh Jobe is going to be put to the test. This might be one of those games where like the Eagles are going to find out what else they have at corner pretty damn fast. They might activate two guys because they're going to bring somebody up to replace Bradbury, and then they have to bring somebody else up. So most likely it will be Josh Jobe. It will be Eli Ricks to put him on Jordan Addison. That's what's probably going to happen. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out, what do we have? The Eagles kept 7 cornerbacks this year, which, we went from a QB factory now to a cornerback factory. And it's a deep position. Not to mention you have Isaiah Rodgers that's suspended for the year was rated as a pretty high corner and a kick returner at 24 years old that we won't see until next year in 24, unfortunately. But you have a lot of guys here. So how much tape can they take out of what we did last week? We can literally totally confuse them going into this game because that game against the Patriots isn't what we should be at. That's not a game where that was how we should play. That's our ceiling of how we could play this year. I mean, I even heard some Eagles fans saying that Jalen Hurts regressed from one freaking game. I mean, if it was just Jalen Hurts and everybody else was playing bad, then I could see that maybe. Not regression, but just like, okay, Jalen Hurts had a bad game, but Jesus, everything was bad besides kicking and some defense. That's it. What do they have to take out of the playbook to defend, to attack us this Thursday night? They're not going to come. They're going to come in and they're going to be swinging. They're going to be swinging on us. Okay? Simple as that. But we're going to swing back. It's not our potential. The way we played last week, not our potential at all. It's a joke, man. We played like, I'm not even going to say it again, but you know what it is. I don't got to tell you guys how we played Sunday. I don't got to tell you how generic that whole entire team was on Sunday. I didn't see anything spectacular on Sunday. I was like, dude, look at our roster. Look at the names we have on this roster and look at the rushing attempts, look at the targets. It's an absolute joke. I don't know what they were doing and what they were thinking with the playbook, and they did something on purpose on Sunday. So, Brian Johnson's not an idiot. I understand Sean Desai needs to learn. Not even just learn, but Sean Desai needs to. Sean Desai's defense came out on top at the end of the game. So they were in the game a lot, and they were tired. These corners better follow because I didn't like how Jonathan Gannon kept Slay on one side. After they shadowed him early in the season, they just kept him on one side, and that was it. And number one receivers were moving all over the place, and we didn't shadow big play Slay, and Slay has got to do it. Slay is coming off a big game where he could have had 2 picks. He dropped 1 pick that was wide open in his chest. Had a pick 6 against the Patriots. He's going to get another pick in front of Justin Jefferson like he had those 2 picks last year in that home opener in Philadelphia. So that's all I got to say. Let me know what you guys think about the matchups in general, and do the Eagles have the advantage in this game? How do you feel about facing Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and what is the weakest link to the Vikings? It's obviously the offensive line, and it's Kirk Cousins beyond. Kirk Cousins had a fight with his assistant coach on the sideline after he threw that pick that messed up the whole entire game. Kirk Cousins is the weakest link on that team. No joke. And get pressure on that offensive line is cracked. And that Buccaneers defensive line has nothing on the Eagles. That Buccaneers defensive line has nothing on the Eagles defensive line comparison. It's night and day. So you guys let me know. See you guys on the next one. Chicks, what up? Falls like. Peace out, guys. Peace.